The following precedence table indicates when certain tasks need to be done during a project. State a difficulty when attempting to draw the activity network and how this can be resolved. We probably can't figure this out until we just try to draw it. So let's go and have a look. So now we reach to this one, J. It needs to go and its predecessors are C, G, and H. So theoretically, what you would do is you would put erase H. There's C and G. C and G are here, as you can see. So theoretically, you would put a J out here, and we would bend H like so. Except now H and G are parallel edges, indicating those activities need to be done in the same time and in the same way. Which in an activity network we cannot have parallel edges because it wouldn't work. Because if G takes 3 hours but the H represents the same job and it takes longer, that's nonsense. So we can't actually do it like so. So in order to solve this problem, we're going to redraw that H. And what I'm going to introduce you to a thing is called a dummy activity. So a dummy activity is an activity that's represented by a dotted line. It has a weight of 0, which we'll look more about in exercise 15D and 15E. And basically what it says is, yeah, we know we can't do a parallel edge, but if we could, this is what you need to do. So this is often a challenge, is being able to find out, understand what the dummy activity is. And I find that sometimes perhaps people are confusing the activities with the vertices, and don't do that. You're looking at what's coming before the edges. So in this case, for J, we needed C, G, and H. And if I was to just bend H back into C and J, then that would cause a parallel edge, and we can't have that in the network. So we have to create this dummy, which basically is almost like an extension cord, if you like. This is what would be if we could make a parallel edge. That would be the other side, and then we can connect J accordingly. For example 5, fill in the precedence table for the activity network below, and this time we've also got some dummy activities. So for A, there's nothing. For B, there's nothing. And for C, there's no predecessor. For E, the predecessor is A. For F, the predecessors are B, but also C, because of the direction of that dummy activity. Because that dummy activity is coming directly from C, it's almost as if that's supposed to be a parallel edge, which we're not allowed to have. So therefore, that is why that is a predecessor. For G, it is C. For H, it is E. For I, it is G. For J, there is F. There is also, sorry, I'll rewrite that. There is F, and there is also E and I, because again, there is a dummy line that connects from the end of E into J. And for K, it is H and J. Example 6, draw the activity network that matches this precedence table, label any dummy activities accordingly. So this one might be a little bit of a challenge. So let's go and have a look, and you may need to redraw this several times. So there's our first attempt, and as you can see, it looks a bit rubbish. We know that J has to come before its predecessor's F, and we also know it has to come before H. We've got a couple of dangling edges, so we might need to just reshape how this might look so that we can get a better looking network. So I'll label this attempt 1, and let's restructure it so it looks a little bit better and we can get some things closed off. So with our second attempt, taking a lot of restructuring and redrawing, we now have a very beautiful looking activity network. It has been closed at the very end there, as you can see, with activities I and J, they are dangling ones. We've got them closing up together. We've got our dummy activity, and everything is as it should be. Technically speaking, I suppose dangling edges aren't necessarily a huge problem. But it is an activity network. It is supposed to have a start and an end. So if you are required to draw an activity network based on a precedence table, go with the assumption that it must have a start, it must have an end, and that you have to close it up in some manner. It may take a little while to get a hang of it, but with plenty of practice, you'll be fine.